不想一辈子让人踩在脚下。你以为我是臭要饭的？我整了3年，就是想等一个机会，争一口气，不是想证明我了不起，我是要告诉人家我失去的东西，我一定要拿回来。
Ain't it funny how deep down every brother wishes his skin? What? Stop Asian hate, always. Yeah, I don't think that's true, DeepSeek. I don't think that's true, and I don't think deep down every black person ever wishes that. And yeah, that's a crazy comment. See me, I'm banning. Now you got that on my G. I'll let you do the honors, bruh. It's hella true. Wait, don't ban him yet. Let's have the conversation, because you're wrong. If that was the case, a lot of rappers would never be out. He's wrong. Like, we all know he's wrong. We all know he's wrong. Like, anybody with a brain knows he's wrong. And then there's people that are going to think that he's right, but that's not true. Because then rappers, again, rappers and people like that are on reality TV shows would not be able to make the profit that they would. And nobody ever wishes for their skin to be white. They wish for more equality. They wish to not be judged for the color of their skin. Yeah, nobody ever wishes to be white. Married to white women. You can't rebuttal my point, though. I don't watch sports. I think athlete mentality will lead to you to wanting a specific type of woman, but I don't think that has anything to do with race. I don't think it has anything to do with race at all. I think there's like a certain like competitive nature that these people embody, and I think that they find someone with like a similar nature or some type of woman that they feel like is going to push them further towards their goal. And if that just happens to be a white woman, or if that just happens to be someone that's maybe Asian, it could be a black woman, but it's just whoever they find. It's whoever they find, and it's probably whoever they find first, typically. I don't think it has anything to do with preference or race. I think it's a mentality thing. In the same way for me, like I don't have a type specifically. It's really about personality and mentality. For real, there's been a lot of girls from like a bunch of different races that just have not fit me like mentally, and that's why I'm single. I could realistically be with anyone if I just decided to change myself. But if I want a certain thing for myself out of life, why would I change myself just to be in a relationship? I think that's a little stupid, and I'm sure a lot of athletes or other people also probably feel the same way. So instead, it's just an interracial couple. They found someone that fit them, and it had nothing to do with race. There's your rebuttal, brother. I think your takes are a bit ignorant and one-sided, and not actually looking for like the deeper meaning behind it. I think you're just trying to make something black and white when it's not black and white. It's more of a gray area. But I don't know. You might make that racial too. Like you got me. You got me. I don't never mind debating a point though, or like hearing a point out. But that was just a bad one. That one was terrible, especially the first part. I don't think I've ever met any like black man that wanted their skin to be a different color. It's usually just always about like equality and not like feeling a certain way because of their skin. And this comes from someone who's felt a way because of their skin, but like in the opposite way. I remember when I was younger, I used to like sit in my head and be like, am I black enough? This, that, and the third. But like, it does not matter. It's a cultural thing. And not even just that, like the content of your character is the most important thing, way over than like skin or anything like that, bruh. It's the same when somebody comes in to argue a certain point and doesn't understand both sides. Yes, I'm still thinking about it, because it's really all mental. Anybody can be taught something and act a certain way, and I don't think doing a specific thing ever is akin to just like one race. Ooh, he makes me want to like articulate my entire thought process on the situation. So with Yap time, his claim was, why do black people want to be white when there isn't a thing that's called being white, first off, okay? And then he made the claim, why do black athletes often marry white women, okay? And again, a competitive like athlete mentality takes a certain type of like ego death to master any skill, but we're talking about like sports in general and a lot of work. Oh, that's what he was talking about. Yes. So you have to put a lot of work in, and it's a lot of mental work you got to do. Okay. And in black culture in America, right, is like locked in as we can be. there's just certain things that are sometimes missed to be taught to our children because of the environment that we were placed in by, you feel me, by the government, by the society that we were born into. You feel me? We did not get to decide on these things. And family households for generations were messed up by white people. Right? Let's continue. Let's continue, bruh. And the systematic oppression that was happening for generations, even after the civil rights movement. You feel me? And still happening. Thank you, Grandpa. And if a household is not complete because either the father's not there, they're poor, they're struggling because of the society that they're born into, obviously it's going to be harder for that culture. And that, if you want to say it's a race thing, it's not a race thing. It's really like, it's like class wise, it's money wise. You feel me? If you don't have a lot of money because of a certain situation or a certain thing that would be normal to have in a like lifetime, and that's not there, it's going to be harder for you to develop certain mental fortitudes, to develop certain mental skills that would help you go further in life. And it just seems that there's a lot of black people in America that do not have that because of systematic oppression and other things that have happened over the years. And so it's not a race thing. I'm sure there's a lot of black athletes that would love to marry a black woman. I don't think it's ever about race. It's about finding someone that matches where you think that you are mentally and personality wise. And of course, if there's more people that are going to have multiple generations of learning mental skills and being able to push forward, I'm talking about white people, Asians, any group of people. It's not a race thing. It's not a race thing, but any group of people that were able to be here and actually build a good like foundational structure in order to elevate their family and their people more, it's going to be easier to develop those mental fortitudes that you would need to match the level of like a professional athlete. And a lot of black households have not had that, especially if you come from like an inner city or like a poorer, blacker household, which is why we as a people need to be able to move forward and build that foundational structure through all the challenges. You just got to push forward. You feel me? But it's very hard to feel like that when you feel like there's no point, or you feel like there's easier ways out, or like you're coping with something. It's too easy when you're poor or when you're like dealing with something and everyone else is taking the same road to like cope with stuff, that it's so easy to just give into that too and just do that too. Obviously, we're all our own individuals. At some point, we're adults and we have our own minds and things like that. So there's no excuse for anyone. But the facts are there. The facts are there that if it's been like this for a long time, it's going to be harder to uproot that and fix the problem anyway. That's for anybody, any group of people, any habits. On an individual level, on a systemic level, in general, it's going to be harder to fix whatever the root of that problem is. Whether you consider that alcohol, whether you consider that drugs, whether you consider that some other third thing. You feel me? I think that it can take one person to come along to inspire an entire generation. I think Martin Luther King did a great job with doing that. I think he changed a lot of things and inspired a bunch of people to improve. But I think you need more than just one person to actually continue to keep those foundations up. And I think you need the system to not want to keep trying to put a fucking people down in order to be able to continue to keep that foundation concrete. But it kind of seems like people don't really want to see everybody win. It feels like sometimes that people feel like there has to be someone at the bottom when it really doesn't have to be like that. Everyone should be able to get out of whatever situation they're in and continue for a better life. Isn't that the American dream? Isn't that why people come to this country? To live a better life? So why the fuck will we put someone else down? That's just me though. That's just me though. That's somebody that comes from the struggle, that's currently in the struggle. Someone that's living in a hotel, someone who doesn't drink or do drugs, even though they saw it around them. You feel me? Someone who doesn't have a kid, even though multiple people in my generation or generations before me would have kids young, okay? Someone who wants to do better, someone who wants to achieve their dreams, someone who wants to see everybody win and push forward, you feel me? Even though, shit, I really shouldn't have. Shit, I should have been in a worse position. Shit, I had people telling me I would wind up in jail or dead by the age of like 16, but I'm not. But I'm not doing that shit, and I'm not matching those statistics. And I'm using the influence in the place that I want to be to push forward and to help more people that were potentially or could be potentially in my situation. But I'm not selfish, and I'm not going to just help those people. I want to help everyone because I think everyone deserves it. And I think any malicious or bigoted type of mindset is just fucking stupid. I think that's just dumb. And I think you're not looking at both sides of the coin. And I think you owe it to yourself and your future children to potentially take a step back and maybe think about it from their shoes. Because I think looking at things from both sides of the coin would be very, very important. And I think it would help you push forward a lot. But you're probably not listening. But that's for anybody. For real. I don't know what we talking about, but this is a good speech. Nah, yeah, that's something I've thought about for a long time on multiple different occasions. I want to see everybody win. For real. I'm gonna just go back to eating my Doritos. And no Doritos by the hate.